Good afternoon. It is exactly 4 o'clock, and you know what happens on Monday at 4 o'clock? We talk about family civility. I am Dr. Rebecca Finlayson Harper. I am so excited for all of you to be on the show again today. Please share, have a watch party, get it all out there, and respond, because we have such a good topic, a topic that is personally close to my heart, and we'll go into that later. But it is definitely a version of family civility and a type of family that we do need to address if we are going to truly practice family civility. And I couldn't ask for better, the most amazing people to actually be on the show today. And we have Dr. Penny Heffelbauer, I hope I pronounced that right, and Dr. Robin Lococo. Now, Dr. Heffelbauer, and of course, I decided to take the harder name, Dr. Penny, I think you're actually a professional humanitarian. Has her doctorate of philosophy and humanities from the United Graduate College and Seminary International. She's worked with challenged champions and heroes. She's a caregiver, a paraeducator for special needs, a high school independent study aide. She has been in the front line, the middle line, the supervisory line, now for special needs and exceptional and children and adults with exceptionalities. She is the Vice President of Communications and Development for Challenged Champions and Heroes. And she's done mission trips to Germany. I mean, she's had a life that I dream of and hope to achieve as well. And of course, we have Dr. Robin Lococo, who has worked as an administration for 25 years with I Change Nations. Her most recent vision or passion is to bring honor and recognition to the differently abled people in the world with her organization called Challenge Champions and Heroes, founded in November 2015. As part of this vision, she's also started an awareness campaign showcasing life is valuable and every life is valuable, and created a national day celebrating the differently abled on July 29th every year. Her education, she is also a doctor. Dr. Lococo's nationwide work includes work as a conjunction, the Congressional Prayer Conference in Washington, D.C., appointed executive director of the North American division of the IPI Interfaith Peace Building Initiative in Ethiopia. She's board member of I Change Nations. She is the international ambassador for Golden Rule. Again, a well-accomplished doctor and woman. And, what I love is to see accomplished women with passion and care for those who are just, we say different. I love how you said that. And I want to welcome you officially to the show. Thank you so much for being on it.
Thank you, Dr. Rebecca. Thank you.
I love that title, Differently Abled, because they're no less able than us. In fact, we're all differently abled in some way, because we have the visually differently abled and the non-visual. Sometimes I like to use the word exceptionalities. They're exceptional and they just need exceptional assistance. And we look at equality. We look at, equality versus equity. And that's also a very passionate thing. So help me know how not to make a mistake and fine. And many of us, and I want you to sort of take on what is albinism and what is the best way to treat differently abled people so that we don't put them down, but treat them as equals and valued lives.
Right. Well, that's the thing. We believe that everyone's created in the image of God, and that everybody has a gift and talent within them. They're special no matter what. So with Challenge Champions and Heroes, well, we like to bring that to everybody's attention. That's what we do, is we bring the honor and recognition to the differently abled or the special needs people of the world. And of course, the caregivers, we don't want to forget them. That's the heroes in our Challenge Champions and Heroes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're perfectly right. You are right. Is the challenged heroes of the people, because I look at it and I say it does take a special person. And I look at my daughter's school, funny enough, and I see those kids. It takes a different personality to who latch on to my daughter and want to be her.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And Dr. Rebecca, I can relate to that because, like I was telling you earlier this morning, I grew up with a sister that was brain damaged from radiation, and I didn't know it then. But when I grew up, that I would be a special education paraeducator, for disabled individuals. But growing up with my sister gave me the patience and the understanding to work with these individuals, and it just really worked.
Which is amazing, because you basically feel, and I said this, and funny enough, I said it in a class one day and I got chastised. I said, I did, like, the teacher really, I was traumatized, honestly. She would just like reminded, and this was in Canada, and she reminded me of one of my Jamaican teachers, which really traumatized me. And, it was really funny because I said, I am blessed to have my daughter with autism. I feel blessed every day to have her. And she chewed me out, saying, I'm a social service worker. There's no way I should put my own beliefs on parents. And not every parent believes that way. And I said, well, they should.
No. Yes, they should. Yes.
But she actually did that to me.
Oh, listen.
Wow.
Even though my sister can't read or write, she has been such a blessing to people by just being who she is. And, it goes back to the heart. Mm-hmm. And everybody has feelings and emotions and that kind of thing. And one of the things my little sister would do is she'd tell people, she says, hi, my name is Alice. What's your name? And she'd put out her hand, And then if we're at a restaurant or something, she'd say, I'm going to pray for you.
Aww.
Yeah.
And, just simple things like that. She touched a lot of lives because of it.
Right.
And she's special. She's very special.
So that's part of our vision, is just to show that love and respect and encouragement to everybody. We want to live the golden rule to where, treat others the way you want to be treated.
Exactly. And, it's so true. It is so, and that's where we talk about albinism, because, and I want to say, we have a certain person watching us today.
I see that.
As I say, the man who not only sees the light in us, but ignites the light in us.
That's cute.
So, that's a very good question, because you did say that, and you did make a point, is albinism. Sometimes, and when I studied albinism and really knew what it was, I was guilty of it. I used to feel sorry for my daughter. I used to feel like, oh my gosh, she's not going to have, I have to work harder to make her, I didn't appreciate her talents, and I thought her life would be so different.
Yeah.
I look at my sons and their dyslexia, and I cried when I realized that was what I was doing. Somebody who's been such an advocate for my kids and the exceptionalities, I was actually practicing albinism. Can you explain to the viewers what is albinism, and sort of explain? I became this awful person for about an hour and realized I need to change.
We have all these different titles for special needs, differently abled, definitely, and today calling somebody disabled is a no-no. So, but as we use the differently abled, or in our name, we say challenge champions, because we believe they are champions, They might have different ways of doing things, but they're just like everybody else. They want to be loved just like anybody else, and they can grow and do, there's no limit to what they can do when they're encouraged the right way.
Amazing. And that's what I did with my kids.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of education in Jamaica, and I'm asking these questions on a personal note because I do want people in developing countries like in the Caribbean and Africa and Latin America to see that no matter what, we can get the information, especially now with Google.
Yeah.
Mackenzie was diagnosed with autism, and I got it as a death sentence. The death sentence. Oh, your child has autism.
Yeah.
And and this is a time where she was screaming for an hour straight. And what are you going to do? And there was no information.
Yeah. And people usually fear what they don't understand. That's why when they see somebody that's a little different, that they're kind of a little standoffish at first. But we want to break those stigmas.
Yes.
And
that's our heart, to be inclusive and
and that's part. And so what you're doing with your organization, tell me more about what is Challenge Champions and Heroes.
Well, mainly what our goal is to bring honor and recognition to the differently abled or the special needs people of the world. And we do that through an honor system. So we'll give out certificates, pins, and medallions, and you can just see how they light up. That they feel that being special at the events. Yeah. So
and what is the honor system that requires? Because I know people are watching, especially in my home country, that is probably because there's so many challenge champions and heroes in Jamaica that are not being recognized.
Yeah, there's actually a billion special needs people in the world. And so there's like 1 out of 7 is special needs. So most everybody we know knows somebody that, we can rise up and honor and show the appreciation of what they can do, the gifts and talents that they have.
Yeah.
Here's another joke.
Okay.
Our Special Olympic team from Jamaica actually wins more medals. And our Jamaican track and field Olympic team is huge.
Yeah.
Well, we win more medals with our Special Olympics team than we do with our regular Olympic team.
I believe it. That's no joke.
Yes.
In fact, my cousin is on the team.
Yeah. My sister Alice was on the Special Olympics swimming team, and man, she went for it. Yeah. Backstroke was her thing.
And then share about Ian a little bit, Penny.
Okay, we one of the persons we've honored over 200 people since 2015, individuals, and we're in 10 different countries. But one of the individuals that we've honored was a young man that was born with spina bifida.
Wow.
And that's a disease that you're born with, and your spinal cord isn't connected. Fused right. It's not formed. And so there's no correction to it. I mean, you can have surgeries and stuff, but it's the way you were born. Anyway, he grew up and went from crutches to leg braces to wheelchair, and is now in his late 20s, but he's in university in Spain, and he's on a national wheelchair basketball team, and they won the championship cup.
Wow.
This last year. And he's also getting ready, once the coronavirus thing lifts, to go to the Special Olympics this summer.
Amazing.
And we honor him because, see, he didn't give up. And it's just like your daughter and anybody else. They keep going, and they are somebody, and they are special, and we love them.
Yeah. I'm actually sending the link to this show to an amazing woman in Jamaica. She is so we have one department in our ministry for challengingly abled families, for challengingly abled kids. One. And this one woman heads the whole department for all the children in Jamaica. So you're still 1 out of 7, and we have 4.2 million people.
Yeah, so that's quite a bit.
And she doesn't rest. And her name is Mrs. Guthrie Gale. And I just want to say hello to her. And I just was sharing it to her because she makes me cry every time I'm with her, because she loves it's her children. She's a grandma, she says.
Yeah.
The parents
are definitely a hero.
Grandma. So that's amazing. But those stories are not unique. They're not right. You're doing the numbers of the 1 out of 7, but when you do that, we speak about, and this is where we're looking at albinism, is that we'll put this one young man on a poster and say, well, look what he can do despite. And that is albinism. Where we say he's achieving that, or your sister's achieving that despite the challenge.
Yes.
When they're capable, all they did was receive the same opportunities.
Right.
That's right.
So that's what we're doing with our awareness campaign. So
so tell us more about the campaign.
Well, I created that in honor of my sister, Deborah Marie Mosier. July 29th is the day that we celebrate. That's actually her birthday. But she passed away when she was 3 from cerebral palsy. And she would have been older than me. I never got a chance to meet her. And, I always wonder what my life would have been like, how different it would have been if I would have had a special needs person in the family, especially that my mother passed away when I was very young. So it would have been just me and my dad. It would have been totally different. But anyway, creating my National Day, what we want to do on July 29th, every year we're going to celebrate special needs people. So we're asking anyone that has a special needs family member or a friend or knows a caregiver, a hero, that they share on social media. So they can share a story or a quote or anything they want, just a picture, stating who they are. And we want to get that out there throughout the whole world. So we're going to do that with our National Day every year.
That's fantastic. And recognizing, they're unsung heroes. They do it for the love. They really don't do it for the glamour, and they arrive every day. And I know Dr. Rivers is saying, when we're coming to Jamaica, well, Jamaica is officially open, by the way.
Oh, yay.
So we can go anytime. And it's actually funny because Mrs. Guthrie is like, how are you doing? I'm going to watch.
Oh, good.
But on the flip side, when we have these amazing women, unfortunately, because there's a lack of education, we have the other extreme. And unfortunately, in my past work, I have been to rural homes, and I'm giving out goats in my agriculture, when I was in farming, and I would see a young lady not even at school. And I said, why isn't she at school? And she says, the teacher can't manage her. She has too many temper tantrums. I knew when they described the day, I said, oh, I know those days. And, she loves everything the color green. And to get her to bathe, they have to give her KFC. And I was just like, and this comes with albinism. You feel you have to bribe and do bad parenting. You excuse your bad parenting practices on, or you blame it on their disability.
Yes.
And it's like, wow. I can't deal with the 1 hour of screaming. Let me just give in, instead of saying, no, despite you having these issues, we'll deal with them, but you still have to.
Yeah.
They need boundaries.
There's certain things. Exactly. And, I will tell you, it's very hard on me, but I got my daughter when I was, and we had a long discussion about it, but when I was bringing her up, my information and education on my daughter was I could take her off the spectrum. I could, with food, with nutrition, with behavioral modification program, and I did. And as far as everybody, she stopped the temper tantrums. She was the most polite child at school. She did all her schoolwork. What I did not know is her depression and anxiety level was so high, it was almost suicidal.
Wow.
Because she was hiding who she was.
Yeah. See?
And
that's what we want to stop.
And it wasn't until, so when we came to Canada now, she was sexually harassed at school. She was bullied at school. Like every harassment was there. She had one best friend who stood up for her every day.
Yeah.
It got to the point where she would eat lunch alone. She just couldn't handle it. And we came to Canada. On the first day of school, she found 4 girls to eat lunch with.
Oh, wonderful.
And she came home. I cried. I cried.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. And then we started, she stims, she runs. And then she started the meltdowns and everything came out. And I was like, oh, did I make a mistake coming to Canada? And then with education and going to workshops, and this is what I'm hoping that we're going to branch on, going to the workshops and learning more about autism and research now.
Yeah.
And her true self was coming out. And that's when she could tell me, no, mommy, there are many times I just wanted to take my life because I wasn't being my true self.
Right.
Yes.
And saying that now,
we want to show that it's okay to be who you are. You know?
Yeah, it is. And I think this is why it's such a it's the non-visual. So let's talk about that. The non-visual challenged.
That's right. That's right. And also we want to be Dr. Robin and I want to be there to help other organizations and other individuals to not feel like they're all alone. You know, we've both been caregivers and we've had special needs siblings, and we want to be there and help out in any way we can, even if it's listening. You know, we just want to be there and let them know they're not alone.
Well, thank you, Chris Shalom from Wales. Thank you, Wales. That's amazing, and I'm really appreciating what Chris is saying. And we're getting so many lovely messages of it's okay to be who you are, and you know, but this is a message for all of us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know? So this is, of course,
myself being small in stature. I was born 2 pounds 9 ounces, and I'm barely over 100 pounds now, 4'9". So growing up in school for me was tough because I was always teased and called names and always looked at differently because I was so little. You know, I had both extremes to where people were very mean and rude with names. And then I had the extreme where people were like, oh, how cute, pat me on the head all the time, you know. So, you know, I kind of know what it's like to be treated differently.
And is part of your campaign going into schools? Can schools contact your organization and say, how can we be better?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
And so how do we contact you? We're going to talk some more, but those watching.
Right. Yeah. You can reach us through our website, www.challengechampionsandheroes.com. And then on there, you can fill out a contact form, or you can email us directly. My email is robin@challengechampions@gmail.com.
Excuse me, it's Robin dot.
Yes. And then Penny's is the same, penny.challengechampions@gmail.com.
Is that correct? Challengeheroes.com?
No, Challenge Champions and Heroes.
Pardon?
Challenge Champions and Heroes.
Love it. I love it.
Roll it one more time.
Yes. Let's look it up one more time.
Okay, the heroes. I don't have the E in the heroes. It's just HEROS on the website.
See my English spelling. I
No,
apologize.
No, actually, you're correct. I did it wrong. I'm going to fix it.
You know what? That's perfect. I love it. See, my children would love it being all dyslexic. So they would be inclusive.
Yeah.
But that, let's talk about that. What do you see? I mean, you've been doing this for now 5 years. And what do you see in the field when it comes to how the visually differently abled and the non-visually differently abled are treated? Do you find that there's a disparity?
Yeah. I think the major thing that I've been seeing mostly is how sheltered and hidden the special needs people are, because their parents don't know how to handle sometimes, or they're just so protective that it's hard to even get close to show love and let them know it's okay to be who they are. So,
and also family members shun them.
Yeah, in a lot of countries, we're finding that they don't have any different. Go ahead. They don't have any different accessibility for wheelchairs or anything like that. So third world countries are pretty far behind in some areas.
Way behind. Yes.
Well, it does take a lot of money to get the universal design going on.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I know the National Zoo in Jamaica actually is completely wheelchair access everywhere.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really thrilled, and it's also quiet. They don't have any loud noises. In fact, it was a lot of special needs children go to the zoo and request to go to the zoo, and the families, because of they're able to go around.
Yes.
Yeah. They have a little training too.
Nature and animals and stuff is always good too for development and just education in general.
Yeah. And how does your organization do any advocacy or assist in advocacy in the countries that you work in to sort of help your heroes in your countries at your ward to know how to advocate?
Not at this moment, but that could be something for future on down the line that we might work on.
The good news is the Family Civility Institute is offering a course on special needs, families with special needs, and I will hope I'm going to do this publicly, and I'm sorry to do this publicly, but I would love to call it the Challenge Champions and Heroes Civility course.
All right.
Oh, absolutely.
And we'll invite you as professors, and we'll get the advocacy. So we'll combine the whole thing with the social service work. And that's what the Family Civility Institute does, is train family civility workers, and they have to have a knowledge in anti-oppressive and civility practices towards the differently abled, even calling them that. As opposed to, and we look at equity and not equality.
That's right.
Not all the families, and we have to look at that as well, because that young lady I was telling you about, she never left the house.
Yes.
They just hid her away, and then she was the best when it came to the goats, because she related to the animals more than anybody. So I said, well, see, our profession, and I actually trained her. To raise the goats, not the parents.
There you go.
Thank you.
What we do is we give hope to the caregivers and to the individuals themselves, but the caregivers have to know that they're not alone, and to train them in the proper way to have that hope for tomorrow and the joy of loving their individuals,
Talking about being siblings, what advice can you give to siblings and parents who have maybe a sibling that does not have that compassion or feels like all the attention is going to the other sibling. What advice can we, because sibling rivalry is real.
Yes,
but
it is.
when you add this element to it.
Yeah. That's a good question for you, Penny.
Well, I'll have to be honest with you. Growing up, my mom spent most of her time with my little sister, and I have an older sister that's 2 years older than I, and her and I, we just started hanging out together and doing everything together because Mom was too busy.
Yeah.
And then we felt when we were older, I mean, high school, like older, we felt like she was being spoiled. You know, they gave her everything. And they, you know, I mean, we never had that love and attention. And it was hard. We knew Mom and Dad loved us, but we didn't see it as much as they, you know, gave it to her. And I mean, we understand it now, but it was hard. It was hard.
So going back to that, how do you think we as parents could be different?
Well, you know, you've only got so many hours in the day, but I think that you really need to let the other kids know, I love you with all my heart. You know, I love you just like I love so-and-so.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What would you want to do with Mommy today?
Yes. Yeah. Give them their special day.
Something like that, you know. Today is your day. What can we do together, you know?
Yeah. It's funny. My children are a relay team. I think to them, I said, you pass the trouble baton on to each other. Once you finish your leg, you pass it on and the other one starts giving trouble. I was just like, what's happening? They're never giving trouble at the same time. They always pass the baton. But I love that idea. And one of the things that I do commend Canada for is the support. And, you know, it's funny because when I first came up, they were saying, oh, you need somebody. I said, no, my daughter is independent. She can cook, you know, she keeps her, but, you know, and I said, no, she doesn't need the help. And then now I'm like, yeah, she doesn't need the help. He needs the help, but always with me. And I then realized that disparity. And so one of the things that Canada does, which is lovely, is offer these caregivers.
Yes.
So I will send somebody to your house for an hour so you can concentrate on the other child.
Hello. That's so important.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm telling you, if you don't take care of yourself, who's going to take care of them?
That's a whole different show.
It sure is.
And I was guilty of it. I admit my fault with that. I was guilty of that. I was constantly giving and giving and giving, and then I eventually broke.
Yeah.
And then this happened, and then especially with a child like my daughter, if I break and I start shouting, it has dramatic effects
on them. Yeah.
And I mean, dangerous too. They'll hit or they'll hurt. And I'm like, and I go, oh, but you can't always keep it together.
No. Yeah. It's important for the caregivers to get the rest that they need. Because I know when I got tired, I was short, you know, and you know, not a nice person. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. But I love the fact that you're right. So you go on the website.
Yep.
And can you nominate challenge champions and heroes?
Yes, you can. Yes, of course. If you know somebody, again, just contact us on our website. You know, be sure to say where you're from. And as we do events around the world, we can work the nominees into where we have our events, or we can go there especially at times.
So tell me more about July 29th. What events are you planning? Can you give any secrets?
Well, actually, we're leaving it up to the world to respond how they want to. We want to see the creativity.
Wow.
So I sent out some logos and some letters, and I just hope that people will be encouraged and say, yeah, I want to be a part of this. And that day we will see all these posts that are going to go up, to like you, Dr. Rebecca, you can put something special about your family on there for each of your children.
Yeah.
Well, and I also
a poem or a picture.
Pardon?
Yeah.
And the people that helped me along the way, because you can't, and that's another thing, you can't do this alone.
No.
You have these partners in your children's life, like their teachers, the one teacher that cared and took time, the principal that didn't kick them out of school because of the different, the doctors,
Exactly. There's so many people that you can reach out and touch and make their day special, by doing this.
Yeah, and I think she might be watching, but I want to just say hi to Dolly. She's in Jamaica. She, when Mackenzie was going to public school, we didn't have shadows and things like that, and she was helping me in the house with her. And she volunteered because she bonded with her so much, and Mackenzie trusted her. She ended up shadowing and going to school every day with my daughter.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she ended up studying and becoming a practical nurse. And I still keep in touch with her. And, it's people like that I could not have lived without.
Yeah.
Also,
she's
somewhere
a hero in our eyes. She's a hero in our eyes.
Yeah. Oh, I see her there. Jacqueline Henry. Yeah, cool. My daughter, she's my hero.
Also, somewhere around July 29th, we're also going to do a video with all our global reps that we have for Challenge Champions and Heroes. And we're all going to get together like this in a video chat. And we're going to share the stories of who each one of us have honored and where, and, what made them special, what they've done in life. So we're looking forward to doing that also.
That's amazing. And she did it. She was like, and this is the thing, parents, especially single moms, you do need help. Don't be a superwoman and, don't try and do it all your own. Like you said, you need the self-care. You need that day off.
Yeah.
And self-care, and you don't want to go through vicarious trauma, because what happens, parents, when you are dealing with so much, you go into depression. Here's what happens, mummies and daddies. When you're in depression, that is a childhood trauma on your children.
Yeah.
So by you doing that, you're causing trauma to your children when you're depressed. So you have to make sure that you are ready for this. And let's be honest, God does not give you more than you can bear. If God gave you this child, He said you can manage it. Right. You are going to learn from it. You are going to be better for it. I would not have I had a radio show for 8 years in Jamaica on parenting because I had a child that I had.
Yes.
Right. I saw that I could access this information because I could pay for the doctors. I could pay to go away. I could pay for those things. And I said, how many families in Jamaica could not?
Yes. Yes.
And so I started my show. And this is why this show is happening. It is to be able to access this information for free.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Because we just want to help.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it.
And that's one thing more with Challenge Champions and Heroes. We look forward to creating a respite time for the caregivers. We want to provide like a spa day or maybe a day at a hotel to get away, just to get their rest and to, have that time for themselves to regroup.
So define caregivers, because a lot of people might think caregivers are people you pay to take care of your children.
No. No, these are usually family members. I mean, they can be from outside the house, but most with special needs people, they're family members that are the caregivers. And they give 24/7 care and attention to their loved ones. And it's a lot of work.
And I love how you said family members.
Yes. You see, another thing that Dr. Robin and I have in common is we both were caregivers for our husbands.
Yeah.
And they have both now passed.
Oh.
But 24/7, your ears are open, you know, you're waiting for the next fall, you know, whatever. And it just takes a toll on your whole body, mind and spirit. Yes.
My mother actually can't sleep at night because she was so frightened. My father had heart disease for 17 years.
Yeah.
And she couldn't sleep at night because she was so afraid of him passing in his sleep.
Yeah.
So she didn't sleep. She actually would stay up and watch him breathe. And then once he woke up, and thank goodness he always woke up early because he was a farmer, she would then go to sleep. And she still had, and he passed away 8 years ago in August, and she still cannot get on a proper sleep pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's a very emotional time.
It's a real thing. I mean, and we have to, and it's just amazing what you women are, the two of you are doing, that you're taking your life's mission, your life lessons, you know, the path that God has given you to pass it on to others.
Yes.
The thing that you just mentioned is we couldn't do this without God's help.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, we just couldn't. Even going through the caregiving part with our husbands, I had to rely on God every day for strength and wisdom to know what to do and how to take care of my husband. And so God is the big the provider and the healer, and He's our stronghold, you know, through all of this.
He gives you the strength that you need.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
And waves. And then this is the thing. He's given this path. You know, we have these experiences that at this time we might think is hard. And we wonder why, God. And then once you come out on the other side, you say, oh, yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't be able to do this show if we never had the experiences we had.
That's true.
No.
You know, we would be like, why are we doing this? We know.
Yeah, Dr. Rivers would say, if you make it through the fire, you come out better.
Yes. And I say, without tests, you have no testimonies.
Right.
Amen. That's so true.
Thank you. And this is a message from a beautiful woman. I mean, her picture is just gorgeous. You're all super women and powerful mothers, learning a lot from your stories. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And she's beautiful. I'm keeping that up because she's just so beautiful. That's a good point. Then, you know, what would be if it take 2 minutes or take 5 minutes and talk about your message to the world when it comes to challenge champions and the caregivers, and what advice you would give.
Oh, wow. To the caregivers. Oh, like it's a difficult job, but we just want to give love and encouragement to everybody that's out there that puts their heart out there every day. And, you know, being a caregiver, they normally have the biggest hearts in the world, you know, because they are super people, super women, supermen that are able to do this day in and day out. So we just want to give them all the love and encouragement that we can.
Yeah, kudos to all caregivers. I mean, we've been there and done that, and we know what it's like. And you know, you can email Dr. Robin and I anytime. We'll love to listen and talk to you. Please feel free to do that. We're all alone, and we have the time. We have the time, and we love you, and we know what it's like.
That is an amazing offer because a lot of people watch.
Yeah.
That is an amazing, but that's a genuine, true offer, and I want to thank you both for that. That's just amazing that you're willing to have. And I can tell you, a support group is the most like once you feel you're not alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
They need to have people that they can talk to and rely on, and to actually ask for help if they need it, you know.
And that's the thing, we don't get the help, you
Yeah.
know. You know, it's not like my children can go over to a friend's house.
Yeah.
You know, I can't get that day's break. I have to arrange for somebody to take my child out, or have, you know, that's the thing. And not even family members many times do not take your children.
Yes.
Because they don't know how, or they don't want to deal, or they, you know, we got stopped by being invited to birthday parties because there might be a temper tantrum going on or biting.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Jacqueline's like, she enjoyed her years taking care of Mackenzie. She helped. She did a lot of research on our behalf, and she was researching right beside me, and that was, I don't know how I would have done it without her.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
I was also a caregiver for a 79-year-old lady. And that was the greatest experience for me because we were so different culturally. You know, she's Black lady and I'm white. And, you know, she was teaching me how to cook greens. And, you know, we had a great relationship, you know. And although I only took care of her for maybe about a year because her health did decline, it was fun. We built a good friendship and we did things together that, you know, a lot of her caregivers wouldn't do. They were there for the money and then get out.
So here's a good question. How when you're interviewing caregivers, because you're leaving your children with them, and I've had some bad ones before, Jackie, I had some bad ones. How do you know what signs you can be able to find a good caregiver? Is there like an following instinct?
Excuse me.
Phone under control. Well, unfortunately, my experience was through the in-home health services. So they're low income, and they're just rotating door with caregivers. You know, here you want a job? There you go. Next one. You know, they do it by location, and so, you know, unfortunately, they do get some bad ones. But you just want to look for somebody that, you know, loves God, loves people, has a good heart, maybe that they've had experience and they know, you know what it's like to take care of somebody, you know, or vice versa.
That's a one I never thought of. To somebody who has had a sibling or has had a relative and is well aware of what we're going through.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good
like experiences, and that would make a stronger bonding period, you know. Because they understand what you're going through.
Another question I have for you. Now we spoke, and I'm sorry, because of my personal experience, we went a little of the non-visual, but tell me more about the visual differently challenged and how we do not show albinism. I know you mentioned the Special Olympics and how amazing it is, but how can we, you know, you approach somebody in a wheelchair, or you approach somebody who you visually know or you can see is different challenge. How do you approach them or handle them, you know, but how do you approach them without insulting?
Right.
A lot of people tend to ignore because they don't know, they don't want to offend, and we don't want ignoring either.
Right, exactly. It's a fine line to learn how to balance because everybody's different with their challenges. So, I mean, a smile, first of all, you know, just be nice. And then, you know, you can introduce yourself and say hello, and then just see how that other person reacts, you know.
It's always if the person is with a caregiver, you can kind of, you know, look at the caregiver and, you know, can I is it okay for me to, whatever. But as far as my sister goes, she was scarred all over here. It looked like a real bad burn, but it was actually infected scar tissue. And it melted her top eyelid off and her ear and stuff. So she was not easy to look at. And I remember walking along the mall when we were in grade school, and even adults would gawk at her, because she was so different. And my sister and I would get mad at them, what are you looking at? But I understand that it's something different, and they don't see this every day, and so they're curious. But you have to just remember that they have a heart and a soul, and they're a person inside, and they have feelings. So be gentle. Be gentle.
Yeah.
So I have a suggestion for those watching who tend to gawk, not out of malice.
Right.
Just smile and wave.
Yeah.
And you can look at the person and smile and wave.
There you go.
Because Chris Perry actually made a very good point. Smile with masks are not so easy, but maybe we can draw a smile on our mask. Oh my gosh, I love that.
That's a good one.
Oh my gosh, because I miss smiling.
I know.
Feeling my smile. As that, because even
Jackie, we got to do a wink now.
Sometimes a little smile does it all. I know. I went to the supermarket the other day and I was smiling at the man so I could get my lamb, and he didn't see my smile and I didn't get my lamb. Like, these masks are not working for me.
Yeah, I miss the hugs too.
I know.
Yeah, that is hard. And you go back at that, children who are considered misbehaving or they bite, look, I know my daughter, she appreciated distancing at a very young age because of autism. And so, but other kids at 2 and 3 don't have social boundaries. They haven't learned it yet. So they'd go up and hug her and she'd feel threatened. So she would push or, and this is the thing, but we always punish the child.
Yeah.
Is reacting to it negatively in the social eye, and this is what we need to change, cultural identities. And
where education comes into play again,
because sometimes we haven't even diagnosed the child yet at that age.
That's right.
My message to people watching on this topic is just like we are all unique human beings.
Yes.
A differently abled person is no different.
No.
They're just as unique as we are.
Yep.
And if we treat everybody like how we want to be treated, which is civil, which is with civility, a smile, if a child, I remember that happened, and a parent called me and said, I must take the child out. She tried to get my child kicked out of school. I'm like, but your child keeps coming, and don't tell your child not to go hug my child. Just say hi. Be aware and teach social distancing a little earlier.
Yeah. Boundaries are good sometimes.
Boundaries, exactly. It's always the negative, and we have to stop blaming parents and making them feel, because that's another problem. When you are, I was told I was a bad mother. I was not disciplining enough. I wasn't hitting enough. I wasn't doing this enough. And it traumatized me and it made me question my motherhood.
Yeah. And
all that happened was I just had a child that was different, and I had to change my style of parenting.
Exactly.
But I needed time to learn that, especially when I was teaching it.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So be patient with fellow parents and be patient with caregivers. So we praise them and we rejoice them, but also be patient with them.
Yep, that's so true. Amen.
And that the results aren't going to come instantly. 1 month to change a behavior, just for the record.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you both for all the work you're doing. And
thank
please
you.
remind us, what are we to do on July 29th?
One more time, I would like to see the whole wide world make a post on social media, either Facebook, Twitter, whatever platform you want to use, but share something about a special needs person that you know or a caregiver, whether it be a picture, a story, a quote, however you want to do it. We leave the creativity up to you.
And with the hashtag?
Yeah, you can hashtag Every Life is Valuable, hashtag Challenge Champions and Heroes. I've also put my logos out there. If you'd like to put that on there, you're more than welcome to use that.
It's called Awareness Day because we want everybody in the world to be aware of Challenge Champions and Heroes.
What is so just to remind me, what's the other hashtag?
Every life is valuable.
Every life is valuable.
Yes.
Okay. I hashtags and me just don't agree, but I hope it's
there
right.
You go. Challenge Champions and Heroes.
I'm really not a hashtag lady. I want to thank all those watching today. Please share, pass on this video. It stays on Facebook to be rebroadcasted. And, hopefully we've helped. I know you've mentioned that we've helped you and given you some information. I hope all the caregivers that are watching out there that have gotten a little tidbits and, as we say, golden nuggets.
Yes.
To continue the amazing work that you're doing. As we say, as Dr. Rivers has passed it on, every life is all 7.8 billion lives.
People, yes.
Have a purpose, and there's a reason. I know
special needs.
Pardon?
I said, in 1 billion special needs people. Every life is valuable.
Exactly. As you said, God does not put anybody on this earth without a purpose.
No. He doesn't make any junk.
Pardon?
God doesn't make any junk.
No, he doesn't. And 1.1 billion people on this earth are just as worthy and are able to teach us a lesson. So thank you.
Right.
And we want everybody to show that on July 29th. Let's show the love.
Let's show the love. So just to be clear again, July 29th, post with the hashtags caregivers and challenge champions and their heroes. So you're posting the challenge champion and their heroes and celebrating them on July 28th. Oh, Jean, your daughter has MDA in a wheelchair, and you are a challenge. You have a challenge champion, and you have a hero.
That's right.
And you are a hero, and we are celebrating. So make sure to post with the hashtags challenged champions and heroes and hashtag every life is valuable on July 29th. Let us show Dr. Lococo and Dr. Penny all the love and support that they are giving to us every day with their advice. And please don't forget to go to the website www.challengechampionsandheroes.com and they are and your email addresses again. Oh wow, she's a musician.
What does she play?
What does she play? Oh, absolutely.
What instrument, Jean?
That is amazing.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Everybody has a talent. And I think
they do.
Going back to that, I think that's what I did, especially with my kids, is because they had these challenges, I fought for them to find their talents faster, so they had that pride. Saying that, I'm going to hide for 2 seconds and show you my daughter's, oh, she does a guitar, but writing and writing.
Oh, okay.
So guitar and writing. So I would like to show you my daughter's talent. She designed the new Family Civility Institute logo.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful.
I'm
There
so
we go.
proud. And Jean's daughter's at Stetson University. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so my daughter's 16 years old, and she designed the logo for the Family Civility Institute.
Good
so
job.
I'm launching it today. The new logo.
Penny, do you have Anthony's artwork handy?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Miss
The
Kumari.
latest young man that we have honored, he has autism, and he's an artist. And he did this painting for Penny for her book cover.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All I need is, oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, you see, they have their purpose. They have their purpose.
They
So
sure
what we're
do.
going to do is put a book together with all his work, and we're going to help him distribute that through our, our network and our events and things.
Well, I want to thank you both for all the work that you're doing from one caregiver to the other, to you.
Yes.
I want to thank you, and definitely we are going to celebrate. Let me just put it back up one more time. July 29th. All the best on that day. Thank you for all the work that you have given. And thank you for being a Family Civility ambassador, because that's what it is about. What you are doing is showing the universal design for family.
Yes.
That's what Family Civility is. It's accepting all families and their members.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
No matter their sexuality, their gender, whether they're biological or non-biological, and their abilities.
Yes.
That's right.
Right?
Thank you so much for having us.
To support and to be civil and to encourage. That's what family is. So thank you very much for talking Family Civility with me today. And I wish you all the best. And we'll definitely we are going to post on July 29th. Thank you.
We're looking forward to going to Jamaica with you.
Yes, the Family Civility Conference is November 12th to 15th.
Oh, well, see, I'll remember that. That's my birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for all the people watching and all your amazing comments. Such an interactive day. And I'll see you next week on Monday at 4 p.m. when we Let's Talk Family Civility. Bye.
Right. Bye. Thank you, Dr. Rebecca.
Thank you.
Thank you.